So welcome back to the Saturday Sampler here in Southington. This is our basic August 2020 block, and what we're making this month is a card tricks, and it simply uses the 8.5 by 12.5 creative grid ruler. Okay, so as you can see, our block is actually made all by triangles. The half square triangles are in the corners, and then the north, south, east, and west units are made with quarter square triangles and half square triangles, and then the last unit is our center square, and that is made up entirely with quarter square triangles. So a little tricky how we rearrange or arrange the colors, but we'll get to that in a second. So let's go to our cutting. Over at our cutting board, so for the basic August block this month, you're given one piece of light green, blue, orange, and dark green. Those pieces of fabric are going to be cut. First, what I did is I cut them down to 5 1/4, and I made my first square. Then I cut that down to 4 7/8, and you make one square. Okay, so down with the whites. Pretty much the same thing. You're given one piece of white fabric in your kit, and please don't forget to starch your fabrics before you cut your kits. So I cut my strip 5 1/4 to begin, using my first cut here at 5 1/4 square. I then took the remaining strip, cut that down to 4 7/8, and then cut 2 squares at 4 7/8. Okay, so the next thing you're going to do with your kit is what I've done here. I have my 5 1/4 and my 4 7/8. The 5 1/4 squares are going to be cut on the diagonal twice. So let me go ahead and do that. I have all my colors here and my one white there. I could actually put them all together, cut them all at the same time. And I'm just going to line up corner to corner and go ahead and trim that in half, and then a diagonal again. So don't move your square, just move your ruler, and again corner to corner, and go ahead and give that a cut. So what I've done is cut my 5 1/4 on the diagonal twice. So we need all these white ones. So I'll separate those. And when it comes time for these 4 pieces, we're going to discard 2 of these. And we can put these in our scrap, but we are not using them. So the best thing to do is to just get them off your cutting board to begin with, okay? So we're going to keep 2 and all 4 of these. The 4 7/8, all 4 colors, and my 2 4 1/8 white, they are only getting cut on the diagonal one time. So let's go ahead and do that. Put our ruler right on the corners. One cut for the diagonal, and again for the whites. So these are our 4 7/8 squares, and they're cut on the diagonal once. Okay, so I should have 4 here. All right, so to begin, we're going to match our half square triangles, and everybody knows pretty much how to do half square triangles. We're just going to take half of this pile and place it with our right sides together with our whites. And what we're going to do is sew 1/4 of an inch down the edge to get our half square triangles. And I've done that here. Okay, so that's what these are. The next thing we want to do is work on our quarter square triangles. So we're going to take one stack of these and place our colors with the base of our triangle facing us. Okay, so there's my blue, my orange, my light green, and my dark green. And we're going to take each of these quarter square triangles and we're going to put them to the right-hand side so that we now have the base of the white to the right and the base of our color to the bottom. So each of these gets sewn to the side. So as you can see, all we're trying to do is make another half square triangle. Okay, so the longest side, the base goes to the side. So what we're going to do is go ahead and sew these and come back and sew our half square triangle to it. So when I put these right sides together, I like to begin sewing at the 90-degree corner and straight through to the end. Okay, so I'll just do one of these for you. And these triangles should fit directly on top of each other. They are the exact same size. Okay. So 1/4 of an inch. We're going to start from the 90-degree corner to the 45. Okay, let's keep going. I'm just going to chain these. Just going to get them right on top of each other. Okay. And then the last one. All right, so simply press these away from the white. So we're going to take this over to the pressing area, and each of these is going to be pressed toward the color. Okay, so let me take these apart real quick. Okay, so come on over. So when we're pressing toward the color is on top. Whatever side, whatever one we're pressing toward, we're putting that one on top. So there's that. A little bit of heat, and flip it toward the green. A little bit of heat. Flip it to the orange. All right, so let's go back and grab the other half triangles that are in our stack. And now it comes time you really have to pay attention, okay? So we're going to line these up. The first ones we're going to do is, again, the base of our triangles are going to go to the bottom and the white to the sides. So I'll do the light green, and then I have a blue and an orange, and lastly is my dark green. So we're going to take each of these, and in the directions, I should show you what I've done is I've had you put your green and white just like I have, and each of these gets a very specific color, which is outlined here. So the orange to the light green white. So here's my light green white. I'm going to go find my orange, and that's the piece that goes there. Okay. The next one to the blue and white is my light green. So follow the directions, the written directions that you're going to get with your kit, and you shouldn't have any problem. Okay, so what I've done here is I've matched them up, and again we're going to sew straight across at 1/4 of an inch. Okay, and that's what I've done on these. Okay, so let me remove these. And the last unit is, of course, our center, and we're left with just these 4 1/4 square triangles. So we're going to line up, let me make sure, we're going to line up our light green with our dark green. Those are opposite, and our orange with our blue. So we're going to sew a light green to a blue and the orange to the dark green, which I've done here. Okay. Or not. Close enough. Lock your seams.
What does it mean to lock your seam?
So I've ironed these both toward the green fabrics. So when I want a nice center to meet dead on in the center, my seams should be right on top of each other. So as I drag my fabrics across, you'll feel this seam allowance lock with that seam allowance. So it's nice and flat. You won't feel like a double up or a gap between those two seams. So go ahead and hold that right in place, line up your points, and we're going to sew that at 1/4 inch. If you want, you can put a pin in there. That's perfectly fine just to hold it. So I kind of have my finger, and I definitely still feel it nested together or locked. And I'll get my next section right on top of each other and go ahead and continue to sew my center block. Okay. So you see it comes right out nice and flush, locked right in there. So we're going to press this just to one direction. It doesn't really matter. And we're going to assemble our block. Okay. It's easier probably to do it here. All right, so we have all 9 pieces, and what I like to start with are my corner pieces. So I'm going to put all my whites, all the whites go to the outside. So I'll start with my light. I'm going to put my blue, white out to the outside, my dark green, white to the outside, and my orange. Again, white to the outside. And then we can line these up. All the whites, all these little white quarter square triangles are going to go on the outsides. So we have this one that matches up with my green and orange. I have this one that matches up with my green and blue. I have this one that matches up with my blue and dark green, again white to the side, and this one, which matches up with my green and orange. So simply all we need to do is place this one in the center, and hopefully we have a card tricks and not 52 card pickup. Okay, so simply sew your rows together as a 9 patch, and then sew your columns. Okay. Always making carefully, being very careful when you get to these intersections that you try not to cut your points off. Okay, so when you're putting these two together and you're adding this row to it, just put a pin in the point. We've done it before, just to make sure that you don't cut too much of the orange off or you show too much green. Okay, and then we press it and put our borders on. And there was one other thing I wanted to tell everybody. We are having a special sale right now with Bernina's. It's called Swissmas, so Merry Swissmas. And up until the 18th, from the $4.75 Bernina and up, we're giving free bundles. It could be walking feet, the big book of feet, hoops. It depends what version of the Bernina that you're getting, what series. So please stop into the store if you're looking for a new machine, and we'll talk to you. So again, the ruler is 8.5 by 12.5. Any great square ruler will work for this block, and that's it. I hope you enjoy it. Again, blocks will be ready on Saturday, and you can certainly come pick those up anytime during the month. Be safe, and I miss everybody. Have a good day.